Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here, and I'm getting a head start on
Newminster 48 Danish Gold. Also, I'm Seth, and I am here as well.
together, the three of us. We're Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again. Good morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer. How are you?
I am well. I'm well, and you?
I'm good. This is an abrasive cut on this.
I think it's probably just drying out a little bit. I don't
This
think
is a very dry cut on
that
this.
makes sense. It's a very dry cut.
They did not use the water cutting technique that has become popular
It's
among the
all
kids these days.
All the rage.
All of it.
So,
We need some lighters up in here.
I got a pocket full of them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Are you hoarding them?
Kinda.
What are you hoarding the lighters for?
Because I need lighters.
I almost got some juice.
So today I'm smoking a Marcus. Seen the Marcus?
No, that looks nice.
This is kind of a baby.
That's
It's a
nice.
baby Mark Twain,
Yeah.
but it's got that nice dark stain. You know what? We should talk about the dark stain.
Call it the Marky Twain.
Marky-Mark Twain.
Marky-Mark. You're welcome.
Oh, Missouri Meerschaum's had some trouble here recently with their dark stain. The company whose stain they've been using forever discontinued the color that they use for all their dark pipes. So they've been in the process of trying to reformulate and come up with something that would at least get close to the old dark stain. And it's been maddening to them, it's maddening to us, and in turn to our customers. We've had folks that have been waiting because we got in a back order situation again, sudden surge of people buying Dagner cobs. We keep ridiculous amounts of those pipes on hand, and we'll get a message from somebody in Indonesia saying, I would like 4 dozen of those pipes. 4 dozen should last us a while, not when one order comes in and takes 4 dozen worth of pipes. Well, it just so happened that at the same time that some guy cleaned us out, we had another surge of a bunch of other people wanting it, and we were waiting. Well, then when they showed up really light colored, really blonde. And so we ultimately fulfilled those orders, but we sent them out with a discount coupon saying, sorry, this is not normal. Hopefully, nothing else, smoke this in the dark. You'll enjoy it in your backyard at night. And we'll find a way to make it right if it bothers you. Like I said, I feel really sorry for Missouri Meerschaum. I feel sorry for us and for us that stuff like that happens, but it happens.
I mean, it's nothing a Sharpie couldn't fix, right?
I suppose not. And by that I mean not. Where'd my lighter go? Where'd my lighter go, bro? Give me my lighter, bro. No. Never a lighter, bro.
Come on, it serves a purpose sometimes.
So I have a question for you, boy.
All right.
I'm asking you in absentia, so you're speaking on behalf of them.
That's a lot of weight to put on my shoulders. But I'll do it. I'm up for the task.
Have you had any experience with websites, catalogs, retailers that sell their product or market their product above the suggested retail price? They'll put a number out there, let's say an item that the suggested retail price is $75, but they'll put on their website or in their catalog that the suggested retail price is $89, and then they'll discount that to $77.50. So their discounted price is actually higher than the actual manufacturer's suggested retail price. You ever seen that?
I'm sure that I have. I don't often pay attention to what the manufacturer's suggested retail price is. That takes a little bit more investigating. But there are things I generally know what their value is, what market value is, and you'll find places that inflate the value to then discount to something that is really in par with what everyone else is selling it for.
Yeah.
To make it make it seem more valuable. That happens a lot on the Chinese websites.
Mm-hmm.
That they'll have this
compare at 175.
Right. This
No.
this $15 drone is regularly $95, but we'll sell it to you for $15 today. That's not happening. What also happens sometimes are places that will make a big deal about discounting something by 0% or 1%. Like they'll have a big for sale sign, a sale sign that's making it seem like you're getting a great deal, and the discounted price is less, like by a penny.
Right. Yeah. We went past a lumber yard the other day in Lexington, North Carolina, the land of barbecue in Lexington, and they had a sign out front that all their cabinets are on sale 5%. And I suppose if you're going to be remodeling your kitchen or building a new house and you already have that budgeted, 5% would be nice, comes in handy. Mm-hmm. But I can't imagine a single car changing its trajectory when they went, oh, wait a second, look at that, there's a 5% sale on cabinets today.
Unless you're in the market for a cabinet.
Well, I said that.
Okay.
Anyway.
I mean, yes, I see your point. However, I don't, because that's cabinets are not a discretionary purchase.
Impulse sign.
Yeah, so no one's just wandering around and they're like, oh, what
sure
I
have a
need.
lot of money burning a hole in my pocket today.
Yeah. Oh, sale on cabinets. I already have some of those, but I could always use more.
That's true. All right, I don't know how we got on this conversation. Somebody mentioned Lexington barbecue.
Did they? So one of the things I've been doing a little bit of research in is MAPP pricing, which is minimum advertised price, which is not necessarily the same as MSRP, because MAPP is a policy that companies can state that you cannot advertise the product for a less price than X amount. So
it's not that you can't sell it for less than X.
So Apple has a very, very strong and powerful MAPP policy, because their policy is, if you violate this, we will stop selling to you, and everyone wants to carry Apple products. So that's why an iPhone price is an iPhone price everywhere. Whether you get it at Target, Walmart, Best Buy, the Apple Store, online, Amazon, it's always the same dollar amount.
But a retail can bundle, right? They can
Correct.
add some free earbuds or something like that to entice you to
or a free gift card with purchase. It's also, MAPP policies are also the reason why sometimes if you're shopping online, you'll see a notice that says add to cart to see the price. Mm-hmm. That's not a gimmick. That's not a gimmick to try to get you to commit to something. It's because they have signed a policy with that, whatever that manufacturer is, that they want to advertise that product at a lesser price, but they can't sell it. And so the kind of loophole is, at the time you've added it to your cart, you need to know what the price is going to be to pay your bill anyway. So that's
you're
a
no
way around
longer a
that.
prospect at that point. You're close to making a purchase.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with a number of companies that have had MAPP and IMAP because the internet changed everything. So IMAP is very specific to online pricing. The reason I bring this up is I got a catalog recently from somebody who's selling Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipes. And I would say 6 of 10 pipes that they had in their catalog had a completely inflated manufactured suggested retail price, MSRP. I'd never seen that price before in my life. And then the discounted price was more than the price we sell for every day. And it's irritating to me because they are ripping people off. And I don't cotton to that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
That's Lexington barbecue talk.
You really must have had a grand old time at Lexington barbecue.
I did. It's good barbecue.
Yeah. Not
Had some
not Franklin's Texas barbecue though.
But I had some pork skins. So,
That's good. I saw that picture on Instagram.
Yeah, it's good.
So
it irritated me because, again, these aren't ridiculously expensive items, but it is your money that you're spending when you buy these items, and to have somebody try to trick us into implying that, hey, look at the savings we're giving you today, when in fact, if you were alert, they're charging you more than you would be paying in other places. That just irritated me. Someone doesn't have a MAPP policy.
So how do you feel? Okay, but how would you feel if they just advertised at a higher price than what's sold?
While that would bother me as a consumer, it doesn't bother me as a capitalist, because a retailer or any selling agency has the right to sell their product for any price they like. Years ago, back when I was, I think, 17 or 18 years old, I was working for a wholesale electronic company, and we were selling batteries from Eveready and Duracell, two competitors, but we sold both brands. And I'm selling these batteries into all the stores in the Dayton area, and I'm pricing them and putting them on the rack. And at the time, the suggested retail price was $3.20 for two D cells, two C cells, and four AA, right? $2.95, I think. Is that right? No, $3.20 I think was the suggested retail price. The going rate was $2.95, and I sold some to a hardware store. And when I came in, the guy had told me, "Don't put prices on them," because that was a service we offered. We would price them. Don't price them. Okay, not a problem. I drop all these batteries off, and as I'm wandering around their store, I get to their rack of batteries. The first thing I notice is they were all pretty old. And for alkaline batteries, okay, maybe that's okay. But what really caught my eye is they were like $6.50 a pack. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what are these guys doing? They're, taking advantage of their customers. But it was a suggested retail price. Mm-hmm. They put the price on it that they were kind of an odd hardware store. They sold car parts as well. And if you needed a Volkswagen part in the Dayton area, and you needed it today, you needed a throw-out bearing and a clutch, you'd call around the local Volkswagen dealers, and they would say, "No, we don't have that on hand. Have you tried Fry's?" You'd call every auto parts store. "Nope, we don't have it. Have you tried Fry's?" Well, of course, no, I didn't try Fry's. That's the last place I'm going to call. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, when you can't find it and you call Fry's, it's twice what it would cost you anywhere else, but they have three of them.
Right.
So that was sort of their little place in the market was, we are an emergency hardware store. If you need it, we've got it, and you will be paying out the nose for it.
Yeah, there's definitely value to that. And it becomes harder and harder with the internet to add value to a customer's experience. What you're talking about is something that we've talked about before a little bit. That's price conditioning. And that's something that we would do at PF Plumbing, is we would train our technicians to be upfront and not to be deceptive, right? So what you're talking about is deceptive, right? Making up an MSRP that doesn't exist. That's not okay. But psychologically, the reason that they do that is the price conditioning, and so. The plumbing company, we would, if customers needing to have a toilet replaced, let's say, we would, first of all, we would broach the subject of price, because that's something that a customer is thinking about. It's a concern that they have, and it's always better if you can address a concern before it's brought up. Sure. Because the second that the customer says, well, I'm not paying more than $200, in order to convince them to pay more than $200, they now have to say no, and no one likes to say no to themselves, right? No one likes to be wrong, basically. And so with price conditioning, though, you would tell them, some of our customers spend as much as $1,000, some as little as $300. Most customers spend in the ballpark of $400 to $500, right? And what that does is it gives them a price anchor. And there's a concept in psychology called the contrast principle, which is where if we're given two contrasting things, our brains will relate the first one in the term, or the second thing that we're presented with in terms of the first thing we're presented with. So, for instance, if you are, if you put your hand in hot water, and then you put your hand in lukewarm water, your brain will recognize that lukewarm water is actually significantly colder than if you had just put your hand in the lukewarm
maybe
water.
even feel cold.
Right. And to demonstrate this, studies have actually been done where they'll have someone put their hand in, and you can do this at home if you want, put your hand in a bucket of hot water and a bucket of cold water. So
can I just use a sink, or do I have to use a bucket?
Whatever.
I only have one bucket.
Cups, bowls.
Okay.
Dog dishes. And so you put one hand in hot water, one hand in cold water, and then move them both to the room temperature water at the same time. And what will happen is the one that has been in cold water will feel very hot. The one that has been in the hot water will feel cold, even though
you will have to pee immediately.
That's right. Especially if you do this to your friends while they're asleep. Even though you know that the temperature in the buckets is the same.
So on average, you're comfortable, though.
That's right. So psychologically, what happens is when you're presented with a high price, with an initial high price, you look at the second price that you're given, and it seems lower because your brain is automatically making a comparison to that high price.
We've talked about this at restaurants.
Yes.
You'll be sitting looking at a menu, and smart restaurant operators will have a couple items
They will highlight the item
in each category. So in the poultry, in the beef,
right.
They'll have one or two items that are just crazy expensive, and they're probably wonderful. They're delicious. It's the a prime cut of something that is going to be $50. And wow, I am not about to spend $50 on that steak today, but suddenly that $35 pork chop seems so much more reasonable.
Right.
Where you wouldn't have spent $35 on a pork chop.
And so the opposite effect can also be true. So if you go into a McDonald's and you're looking at a McDonald's menu and they start offering prime rib, by comparison, that's going to seem so expensive. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
right?
if they had it at market price, you're right. There's
Right.
no way they would. I'd love to get a McDonald's
It's called a McRib.
McRibeye.
Yeah, yeah. And so honestly, those smart businesses typically don't have those things on the menu for people to buy them. They sell them and they do, they make them well, but, excuse me, the intention of having them there is so that on average your ticket price will go up. And a great test of this in these classes that I did with my technicians is I split the room. They didn't know this, but I split them. I gave them each a card face down, and they flip it over. And I told them I had a picture of a really nice steak dinner up on the screen, and I flipped the card. Told them to, when they flipped the card over, to look at it, and what they would see in the top corner is a suggested price window for this meal, what this meal should cost. And then I wanted them to write out on the card what they would be willing to pay, whether that number was below, in between, or above the suggested price. Right? That's it. Well, what they don't know is, and they were told not to share their numbers. Half of them have numbers that say that the meal is between $25 and $50. The other half have things that say it's between $100 and $125. Right? Now, on average, the ones with the higher, and I had a cheapskate. And I had a cheapskate in the high, right? He was a cheapskate, and he said he wrote on his card, wrote the numbers on his card, put the cards down, and he said, "Man, for something like that, I'm not spending more than like $15 because I can make that myself." He wrote $30 is what he would pay for this meal, right? Now that was well below. It was well below what the numbers were.
Yeah.
So in this test, the ones that had been given the higher card paid on average, they paid 200%. They were willing to pay twice as much as the people that had the lower number. And it's just a psychological trick that businesses do. That's what this is. You see that big number, you're willing to pay now $17 for a $12 product. What's important is...
I'm bothered by it. I'm bothered by it when it becomes manipulation.
Right. But the more that you're aware of it,
yeah,
right? The more that you're aware of it, the less likely you are to fall for it when it happens. And some people do it honestly, as honestly as you can.
I do try. My default is to say, oh, someone screwed this up. Someone priced this wrong. But when you see it then in the next publication, you realize, no, this is a game that they are playing here.
Yeah. Unless they're just buying them from someone else. And
my problem is MSRP is spelled out on the catalog page. It's not. There's one manufacturer of Missouri Meerschaum corn cob
do they
pipes.
have an MSRP?
Yes, they do.
And it's not.
They're
that
the
number.
ones that state the MSRP. You can't make up a manufacturer's suggested retail price unless you happen to be the manufacturer. In which case, make up a price.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it doesn't bother me if they had a high retail price. Their normal price and today's price or sale price. That's completely different animal in my mind.
Yeah.
But who am I? I'm a simple caveman lawyer.
So to avoid these Jedi mind tricks yourself, do a little bit of research on price conditioning and the contrast principle. I'm sure you can find some great videos about it. It's psychologically built in to our DNA, and so the more that you are aware of this, the more that you can combat it. These are not the droids you're looking for.
All right. I'm the one that asked the question, so thank you, boy.
Welcome.
How about you? Does it bother you? Let us know in the comments down below.
Or have you ever seen something like this?
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Make it a great week. We'll see you again next week.
See ya.